فَاعِلْ بِكُمْ, that, O Quraysh, what do you think I am going to do to you today? They replied, نَظُنُّ خَيْرًا أَخٌ كَرِيمٌ وَابْنُ أَخٍ كَرِيمٌ, that we expect mercy from our generous brother. The Prophet ﷺ, being the most merciful and the most kind ever to exist on this world, sent to the very same people, فَإِنِّي أَقُولُ لَكُمْ كَمَا قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِإِخْوَتِهِ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمَ اذْهَبُوا فَأَنْتُمُ الطُّلَقَاءُ, that I say to you today, like my brother Hazrat Yusuf said to his brothers, go, O people of Makkah, you are all free today, no harm will come to you. Subhanallah. These are the very same people who killed the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in the Battle of Uhud. Him, she perceived, she sees the body of Hazrat Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ. She cuts off the ear of Hazrat Hamza, she cuts off his nose, she rips his belly and chews his liver. This is the kind of oppression the Prophet ﷺ was facing, and look at how the Prophet ﷺ forgave everyone. These are the very same people who were making a mockery of the Prophet ﷺ. They were calling him names, they were insulting him to such an extent that the whole community used to laugh at him while he used to walk amongst the streets. Today we are in a state that if someone laughs at us or laughs at our brothers or laughs at one of our friends, we have to go and get a weapon and make sure he doesn't laugh at us again. But this, our role model, our Prophet ﷺ, the one who is our leader, look at how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with such people. Never did the Prophet ﷺ take revenge on the people of Makkah. So what gives us the right to do revenge and punish our fellow Muslim brothers? Hazrat Abu Dawood has narrated with his chain from Jabir bin Abdullah that a Jewish woman from Ahl Khaybar poisoned a sheep, then gave it as a gift towards the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ took it and ate from it, then told his companions to raise their hands. Having realized this, the Prophet ﷺ sent for the Jewish girl and asked her if she poisoned the sheep. She replied, "Who informed you?" She was shocked that the Prophet ﷺ became aware that she had poisoned the sheep. The Prophet ﷺ replied, "Akhbaratni hadhihi fi yadi," subhanallah, that this morsel in my hand informed me. Then she admitted to it, and the Prophet ﷺ asked her what she intended from it. She said, قلت إن كان نبيا فلن يضره وإن لم يكن استرحنا منه فعفى عنها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. She said, if he was a true prophet, then it will never harm him. And if he isn't, then we will be in peace from him, because if he isn't, then he will pass away and we will be free from his false accusations. However, the Prophet ﷺ was the true prophet. He then later forgave her and had to have cupping done on his back as a result of eating this poisonous sheep. Even the animals knew the Prophet ﷺ was the most merciful and the most kind. The animals would come with their problems to the Prophet ﷺ, knowing that the Prophet ﷺ will shower them with his mercy and kindness. Our Prophet ﷺ couldn't tolerate any oppression, anybody neglecting the rights even of creatures. I ask, if this is how merciful the Prophet ﷺ was towards the kuffar, towards the enemies of Islam, then our Muslims, how merciful do you think the Prophet ﷺ was towards the companions? How merciful do you think he was towards the Muslims? How merciful was he towards the believers? Hazrat Anas was 10 years old when his mother brought him to the Prophet ﷺ. She said, "Ya Rasulullah, this is my son Anas. My son Anas will serve you." We all know that when a child is 10 years old, he makes many mistakes. We have made many mistakes beyond this age. Hazrat Anas says, I stayed in the service of the Prophet ﷺ for 10 years. Now once did the Prophet ﷺ say off to me. Never once did the Prophet ﷺ rebuke me for anything that I had damaged or broken with my hands. And now once did the Prophet ﷺ lay a finger on me. Every child the Prophet ﷺ passed by, he himself would say salam. We wait for children to say salam and call that child disobedient if he does not say salam. Yet this was the best of creation. This was the creation who had the keys to all the world. He was greater than you and I, yet he himself would say salam to the kids. Not just salam, he would talk to them, and if time permitted, he would participate in their games. The Prophet ﷺ used to pass by a path which was nearby a woman's house every day. After the Prophet ﷺ claimed prophethood, this woman would check when the Prophet ﷺ was approaching her and would throw all her rubbish and metals on that path which would harm the Prophet ﷺ. One day the Prophet ﷺ never saw any rubbish or nettles. So he went and checked what was wrong with this woman. The woman was shocked as she thought that the Prophet ﷺ had came to take revenge. After the Prophet ﷺ found out that she was ill, he went and got whatever she needed for her illness. The woman, after realizing the truth of the Prophet ﷺ, after seeing the merciful Prophet ﷺ, after seeing his forgiveness, she declared, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, and became a Muslim. Not one, not 50, hundreds of people accepted Islam because of the Prophet's mercy and kindness. Brothers in Islam, Islam teaches forgiveness and mercy, not revenge or hatred. Islam is a religion of peace. We should strive to forgive others and show mercy, as those people are the ones who will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He himself will take the responsibility of rewarding those who forgive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated in the Holy Quran, فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. That whoever forgives and shows mercy, then his reward is upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, Allah doesn't like the oppressors. We may be thinking that if we forgive a person, then that person has took advantage, or that person has got away with whatever act he did. But in fact, the one who forgives, his status will be raised, and he is the one who will be rewarded on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And what greater reward can a person ask for than the reward on the Day of Judgment? As Ibn Jarir has stated in his tafsir, أن الله تعالى يقول يوم القيامة ليقيم من كان على الله تعالى أجره فلا يقوم إلا إنسان عفا وقد جعل الله تعالى جزاؤه مغفرة عظيمة. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say on the Day of Judgment, He will announce, whomsoever's reward is upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may he stand, and no one will stand except those who forgave. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his reward of great forgiveness. So those people who forgive, who show mercy, will be given a greater forgiveness which cannot be compared, which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. And Ibn Kathir in his tafsir of the Holy Quran himself has stated that the reward of the forgivers will be Jannah. Subhanallah, just by showing mercy, just by forgiving someone, your reward will be Jannah from the Prophet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act upon whatever has been said. May He give us the courage to show mercy and be forgiving. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ رسالہ، نعرہ اہل سنت
زندہ. MashaAllah, نہایت خوبصورت انداز سے beautiful. MashaAllah.